Are you ready to rumble? Do you want a subwoofer? Do you need a subwoofer? Do you crave having subwoofers? Settle down. We're going to talk about subwoofers today. Oh, and I don't want to forget that Harry, one of my patrons, Harry, suggested I do a video about subs. So this one is for you, Harry. Thanks for the suggestion. Anyway, so subwoofers. You know, I've been in the subwoofer universe. When I was writing for CNET and for Home Theater Magazine before that, I reviewed a lot of subwoofers and lived with subwoofers as part of my own system. So I get the whole subwoofer thing, but honestly, in the last few years, I haven't had any subwoofers in my system because I'm basically just doing stereo-oriented reviews, and having a subwoofer around here just sort of complicates things. It literally gets in the way, and that's harder to set up, and it's very distracting to deal with subwoofers every time I'm doing something else. So I banished subwoofers from this room for the time being. Now that may change. We'll talk about that later in this video. But anyway, for now, I'm strictly a stereo guy with no subs. But if you have never lived with a subwoofer, well, you're missing out on something big. And I just don't mean bass. I mean space. Beyond getting the obvious, getting more bass from your sound, you also get a bigger soundstage, a deeper soundstage. You just hear more of what's going on in the recording with a subwoofer that has nothing to do, at least obviously, with adding more bass. There's a lot going on there. So yes, if you've never done it, if you've never lived with a sub, a properly integrated sub, I gotta stress that, a properly integrated sub is one that you don't hear the sub. It's one of those, it's ironic, it's confusing at first. You want a sub that's seen but not heard unless there's a lot of deep bass going on. Then you go, oh yeah, there it is. It's there, it's on. Oh, it's on. It's definitely on. You do one of those. Because most of the time it should seem like all the bass, even though some of the bass may be coming from the subwoofer, ideally it should appear that the bass is coming from the left and right speakers in a stereo system. That is a well-integrated subwoofer. That's what it's all about. That's what you're trying to do. Now, of course, if you like having all the extra bass pounded away, you know, be my guest. Now, I don't want to forget to mention this, but I think there are going to be some changes afoot in the audiophiliac household starting in December or early next year, where I'm going to be able to do more. And one of the things I want to do more of is do subwoofer reviews, because I've neglected them. But that may change coming up. We'll see. We'll see if my plan all works out. If all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, I will do more stuff, more subwoofers, more of everything, I hope. We'll see. We'll see how that all works out. Now, some folks, if you're a subwoofer virgin, you may think that you can't add a subwoofer to your system because your preamp or integrated amp doesn't have subwoofer outputs, meaning RCA output jacks. This comes up all the time. Audiophiles who think they need a dedicated RCA or XLR subwoofer output to get, you know, on their preamplifier or integrated amplifier in order to use a sub. Not true. Not true at all. All you do is you're going to look for subwoofers, and many companies offer them, is a subwoofer that has what's called speaker level or high level inputs, meaning you're going to hook up that subwoofer to your power amplifier that's already driving your speakers. You're going to just double up the cables. One set of cables goes to the speakers, another set of cables go to the subwoofer. That's it. And I'm showing you a picture now of how to hook it up at the amplifier end. It seems weird, but trust me, it works. It's not a problem, never a problem. So don't worry about that. Small speakers should be matched with small subs. So if your main speaker has a 5-inch or smaller woofer, pair it to a sub with an 8-inch woofer or 10. But not a 12-inch woofer, not a 12-inch sub or a 15-inch sub. No, because there's a big hole there. Big subs don't reach up high enough to meet a small speaker. Let's put it that way, right? They should be appropriately sized. Now, if you have big speakers with 8-inch or 12-inch woofers, well then the sky's the limit in terms of size of the sub. Now, of course, people with small speakers say, hey, I need more bass because my main speakers are kind of limited. They don't do anything under 50 or so. Yeah, get a subwoofer. But if you have big speakers, well, you should still consider using a subwoofer if you're a bass person. Now, let's say, yeah, my speakers are huge. I don't need any more bass. Well, the catch with big speakers, with 12-inch woofers or 15-inch woofers, is that you're placing the speakers for best sound for the speakers, for your left and right front speakers, which isn't usually the best place for bass response in the room. You might want to put the sub in the corner. You might want to put the sub, next to you. There's all sorts of placement scenarios for subwoofers, but they're completely different for subs than they are for your main stereo speakers. So you're going to put your stereo speakers where they sound good, and you're going to lose some of their bass potential. And that's where the subwoofer comes in. And if you have speakers with 10-inch or 12-inch woofers that can go down safely to, let's say, 40 hertz, well, if you hook up a subwoofer and you place it properly, you're going to get bass down to the 20s. And that's a big difference. So you're going to put the sub where it sounds best in your room, possibly a corner, possibly in the middle of the wall. That's a subject for another video in terms of subwoofer placement. Although I will say right here and right now, most interesting subwoofer placement strategies is to put the subwoofer next to your listening position, either side of where you're sitting or even behind the couch if it's a couch, or with some subs you can put it underneath your chair or couch. But getting the subwoofer closer to you and away from the walls and the boundaries, it's amazing how well you can integrate that sub. It seems like a dumb idea. It seems like it can't possibly work. And it's just easier. One of my friends did it recently, and he was like, Steve, you're right. Doing this near-field subwoofer placement strategy really sounds good. It's definitely worth a trial. Anyway, that's what I got to say today about subs. So there'll be more. As I said, I hope it's all going to pan out, that there'll be more subwoofer action on the Audiophiliac Daily Show channel. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and this is, in fact, The Daily Show. If you like what I do, please subscribe to this channel. We are closing in. We're so close to 150,000 subscribers. Matter of fact, I think by today when this posts, I will be at 149,000, so we're definitely on track. But if you have subscribed already, thank you so much for doing that. And if you have yet to subscribe, come on in. Plenty of room for you. Please bring your friends. Bring all of your audio friends. Because this is a community, a worldwide community of audiophiles. We meet each other in the comments section, and when there are hi-fi shows, when they come back, we will be meeting each other in person again. I do miss that at the shows we would sort of, it was great to meet you guys when that would happen. And I'm sure it'll happen again. But for now, you guys can meet in the comments section of these videos and talk among yourselves. Anyway, so while you're here, though, I can tell you about the playlist. So I have playlists for speaker reviews and headphone reviews and music reviews and interviews with famous people in the audio business and just plain folk audiophiles, your fellow audiophiles. People get confused about where those playlists are. Well, they're either above the video, depending whether you're watching it on a mobile device or a computer. They're above you, or above me, or below me. I don't think you can access them when you're watching these videos on television, on a TV. I think maybe that's what's thwarting some people who are trying to find those playlists. But trust me, they are there. And they're playlists for, as I said, speaker reviews and headphone reviews. And they're not playlists of music. I guess that also seems to be confusing some of you guys. Anyway, I know my work here for today is at last complete. Thank you again for watching, and I really, really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.